All right, folks, I'm going to talk you through this brewing system, half barrel Sabco brewing system that I have, which is everything that you would need to brew beer, to ferment beer, and to package beer into sixtils or smaller kegs. Um, there's a turtle and a dog in a tree, they are not included. So this is the overview shot of stuff that is included. Okay, circling back around again, it's a full grain system, so it comes with a manually operated mill. Next, we'll take a look at the water input system. It's a food grade 20-foot hose leading into a hydrologic filter, which flows up this blue tube and feeds the hot liquor tank, which is part of the larger Sabco system. The Sabco system is operated by gas, so you'll need a propane tank, and you'll hook it into that green guy there, which I have covered just so no spiders or whatever make a home there. There is a conversion kit if you wanted to convert this to use natural gas instead of propane. I've never done that, but I guess it works. Next, things pump over to the mash tun here, and the mash tun, well, I'll show you pictures of it, but also included are things that you might need during this process: a couple of refractometers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Then we move over to the boiling kettle, and that's what that part looks like. Related to hop additions, you got a scale here and a timer so you can measure and time your hop additions. There's also a couple of additives there that I'll list in the narrative. Heading out, this is one example of some heading out of the kettle. This is one example of some additional valves and things that I've added. So you can turn on and off the flow out of the kettle, but also you can divert the flow, which is helpful for a few reasons, including cleaning. From there, we go to the heat exchanger, or HeatX. This is also a Sabco product called the Chill Wizard. I've added an oxygen tank, and an oxygen feed system includes the tank and the regulator. You'll see this hose here. Closer to us is the water inflow. The other hose is water output. And so the cooling water passing the hot wort is what cools things down. I'm also including, in case it's helpful to you, this coil chiller here, which you could put in line. Basically, I just put it in place of this here. I disconnected that and connected this here, and I soaked that in a tub of ice water, a cooler, and that helped to get even lower temperatures. I didn't really need it, but it was a fun experiment, so I did it, and it's included. Heading out of the heat exchanger, the HeatX, into a fermenter here is another elaborate example of over-engineering on my part. I included a sight glass so I could see what things look like. I also included a number of valves so that I could direct wort where I wanted. So if it's not going into the fermenter, then I can have it exit if I want to, for any reason. One thing I'll do, and you'll see this flexible tube here, is I'd hook that over to, at times, the second fermenter so that I can split the batch into two fermenters, either if I want to add additional water to decrease the ABV, or if I wanted to tinker around with using two different yeasts on the same brew day. Anyway, so this is the second fermenter here, and I'm just showing what it would be like to package out of the fermenter. So this is one of two CO2 canisters included, and you would just push beer using gas from the top. You'd push beer out the bottom, and it would go into a sixtil. and to allow, well, you would want the six still, obviously everything needs to be clean, but you would probably want that to be a CO2 only environment, and out of there you could let the displaced CO2 go into a bucket that has some sanitizer in it. Back over to the fermenter for a minute. You'll see that there's a bunch of, these are hop cages and hop socks. Those are good for dry hopping directly into the fermenter. You could also have used those earlier in the boil process if that was something you wanted to do. Also, next to the fermenter here, you'll see I've got a bunch of hydrometers and beakers to hold them. So I just talked about packaging into a six still. An option that you would have along the way is to filter your beer. I've never used this, but you could pass the beer through a filter and it would pick up other sediment, hazy characteristics, whatever, that might still be in the fermenter. As an alternative to packaging into a six still, you could bottle your beer with this system. I've never done this, so I haven't used it, but there's two beer guns, bottling guns, and a bunch of bottle caps and a cap applier. So in addition to the six still that you already saw, here are, 8 more. And you'll see one more in a moment. So we've got a total of 10 six stills. They're all ball lock, and they all have good seals as of the last time I used this, about a couple years ago. But if any of the seals have gone bad, you've got a ton of replacement piece parts here, gaskets and poppets and other good things. Also a bunch of keg lube here. Included in this setup is one of the six stills. I'm just showing that you could use it to take beer with you on the road, and just dispense directly out of a hand tap here. So that's an option that you've got. You could also, I'll put it in the notes, but I'm going to go back real quick. If you wanted to incorporate this guy, this coil chiller, into your mobile dispense thing, then that might ensure that your beer stays cold. Otherwise, you just put the six still into a bucket of ice water, and that also works. I'm including some cleaning supplies here, Star Sands and gloves, brushes, cleaner. This guy here, this tube, is good for cleaning kegs. You could make a series of these, and as you're sanitizing from one keg and to the next, you can kind of string them nose to tail, and you can sanitize, and you can carbonate multiple kegs in series, or in series. Also included are a whole bunch of other tri-clamps and the tri-clamp gaskets here, and a few other fittings, a valve, and etc. We've also got extra tubing. You're gonna play with this stuff and put things together how you like, so all these extra parts are good for you. Also, tubing doesn't last forever, so it's good to swap it out. Lastly, I'll show you, there's an extra Sabco kettle. The guy I bought this from included it. I guess I don't exactly remember why. When I got it, it wasn't super clean, but I cleaned it up and it seems to be just fine. It comes also with a false bottom, a couple other sight glasses, a thermometer, and a lid. You only really need 2 lids. This one I replaced, so you just saw 2 in the other earlier in the video, but I think I stepped on this one by accident, so you got it. Also, there's a Frankenstein non-compliant six still that I don't know what else to do with, so I'm going to give it to you. Okay, that's the video portion. I'm going to take a bunch of photos and write it all up. Thanks for looking at this stuff. Goodbye.